Well, thanks for staying with us. Now, let's talk about chocolate. It's undoubtedly one of the products that is known for, and I'm sure that you love that, particularly as Valentine's Day is approaching. Well, here in Ghana, the Ghana Processing Company is making steps to increase consumptions domestically, and there's a need for us to have some conversation on that. Joining me in studio is Nana Ijening Baching the first. It's such a pleasure, sir, to be seeing you today and also having a conversation with you. I see this wonderful display here, but let me first of all welcome you to the poll, sir.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I want to use this opportunity also to thank management for this audience.
Right.
It's a big platform.
Yeah. And we are also excited to have you here ahead of Valentine's Day. And we also need to tell you, our viewers out there, that at the end of the day, you just might be the lucky one carrying away some of these wonderful products that we have on display here. So you would want to stay with us here on the JoyNews channel. But now let's first of all start off with your grand ambition and the vision that you have to increase domestic consumption of chocolate. Obviously, there are a lot of Ghanaians who are out there and are wondering, well, if you talk about chocolates, we just know them for Valentine's, actually. Why do we need to make it a part of our daily consumption?
Once again, thank you very much. You know, in 2017, the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, was always retreating about Ghana beyond AIDS and value addition. And you know, this is one thing that anytime I have such opportunity, I just plead with us all Ghanaians that let us look at that concept of the statement and look at that. Is it true as a statement? And this is where we have all tried to walk into it. Why do I say this? Ghana and Ivory Coast produce 60% of the world population production. Ghana, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Nigeria is 70, but just Ghana and Ivory Coast is 60. We get a part share of $10 billion. It gets into a semi-finished stage, it's 28.8. It gets to tertiary here, is 177 billion. You take chocolate, it's 100 billion. You take skincare, it's 70 billion. You take hot chocolate, it's 7. And if you have a product where it is 1:4, that means that you are 25% in that.
Right.
Then you look at it that, what is it that you have, which is being exported and then imported? And this is also where we all, from 2017, COCOBOD, Ministry of Agric, and all processors have decided to walk the talk and let Ghanaians and everybody know the good values of what we get in consumption of cocoa.
So what you're telling us virtually is that if we are focused much more on the consumption of the finished product, Ghana may rake in more revenue, and it has some benefits also for the country.
Yes. That is a fact.
But at your level as the cocoa processing company, what measures have you put in place so far to boost that domestic consumption?
Yes, COCOBOD, since 2017-18, has seriously supported us in this cause. And in 2016-17, we're doing processing about 300,000 tons. But from 2017-18 to date, we've worked into 45,000, 35%. And last year, the total national production was 1,067,000, and over 400,000 was processed, meaning that we are all working. Situated to CPC. In 2017-18, for the first time in the history of the company, we did 25,084 tons, which is 39%. Then in 18-19 was 28,014, which was 44%. We have a production capacity of 64,000 and the confectionery side of 3. So the only challenge is that this is only 3%, 4.6% of the total production. And this is where we're working into it.
And I guess it's part of all of these efforts that you're making that you have been celebrated as well for your exceptional leadership. I must congratulate you, on that. But going forward, are there some plans that you have put in place that would include all stakeholders? Because mind you, this is not just an effort that the cocoa processing company would have to do all by yourself. Obviously, there should be a multi-stakeholder approach to dealing with this. How about that as well?
That I can doff my hat for the Ministry of Agric and COCOBOD. They've been seriously supporting us on this cause. We have some challenges, and that notwithstanding the challenges, they've all come together to give us that support. And it is through this support that is how we have also been talking about the good values of the production and what you get at the end of the day when you consume.
I need to talk about some of the stereotypes. Very often when Ghanaians say about chocolates, they know of only, they picture one brand, which is the common bar chocolates that we see on the market. It comes in various forms as well, right? Or in various brands as well that you've been doing. What are some of these brands and what are some of the benefits, personal benefits of consuming it as well?
Cocoa as a product, when you consume cocoa, when you take the 5 top polyphenols, which is part of what is building up the body, you have cocoa and dark chocolate, cloves and seasoning, nuts, fruits, and vegetables. So if you have a product where the top 5 polyphenols, that is the first one. In Kunan Islands, that is where the South Americans, there's nothing like a CBD. Because from the weaning to the old lady, there's not, because they take a minimum of 5 times a day. And it is these same people who got it through us. And that is what makes Ghana's cocoa different. Continuous consumption of cocoa builds up your immunity. Continuous consumption of cocoa has something that we call theobromine, and like what is food for the gods. So in the 600 BC, it's not like today that we're talking about it. That is what it was known for. And that is what the Mayans preserved it. And you have one complete meal, just a cup. You have your potassium, magnesium, and in all stages of that activity, just even in the nip stage, it is 1 tablespoon is 40 times the antioxidants of blueberry. Highest base calcium. You get it into this as a butter. It is for food, cosmetic, pharmaceutical, and chocolate. You see? You get it, after extracting this butter, you have that natural powder. You talk about it and you're saying that if you're comparing the milligrams to the, you have red wine as 80 milligrams for every 100.
Right. You
have an apple a day, keeps you away from the doctor, is 36. Green tea is 65 milligrams for every 100. Dark chocolate is 129. Unsweetened powder is 261.
And this is all coming out of one product?
One product.
Wow.
You see, so if with your permission, it is this product that goes out everywhere and they talk about it as pomade. So in this form as a pomade is where you use it as your pomade. And it melts under body temperature.
Wow.
Just this. So if this is your pomade, and this is what goes out. So any cocoa butter cream, this is the main.
This is what they use, right?
The difference with this one is we use a cold press as against others coming as deodorant. So if you just sit here, and this is all part of the things that we're trying to do. So instead of sending it outside in the light of this cover, we are packaging it like this and sell it as a cosmetic.
What would you say about the response from the general public here in Ghana itself towards your product? Is it encouraging?
So far I can say yes, because we've been able to define cocoa not as candy, but as food. And that's how now everybody's appreciating it. If you talk about skincare, they said that what you ingest is as well as what you put on your body.
Right.
And the skin forms a larger portion of your body, and also the softest part of the body. Anything that you get through your body is 64% faster than what you ingest. That's why when you go to the hospital, you are sick, they say, let's give you injection, let's give you a drip. So if you use food-grade properties on your skin, it also helps. Because like this, there's zinc, calcium, anything here. When you apply
everything goes in directly.
Directly. Because we are having any fragrances and all these things, it gets into the skin and it's bringing you a disease. So this is how you have this, and you can also use this as food. Just 1 cube of this can make your eggs or everything of your food.
For you.
Because it's a plant-based butter. You see, so that is, so as food, as cosmetic, you just look at my hands, in few minutes, you see it's not there because it gets into the
system. Right.
And it fights any, because cocoa is a free radical scavenger. So the moment it gets into the skin, it registers any of the antigen and starts fighting it.
And you have been doing this ever since, I mean, as a company. But there's obviously competition within, domestically as well. How do you intend to break that competition domestically so as to encourage more and more people to come on board?
All processors are supposed to support the vision of COCOBOD. So it's like there's nothing like competition.
Right.
But when you get to this line,
Yes.
that's where we stand out. It's because like all of us can get into semi-processed.
Yes.
Some get this semi-processed and get it to other
parts, yeah.
But CPC is the only single origin country bean. So we use only Ghana bean. And that is what makes us unique.
But I'm talking about the finished products. You have alternatives on the market, isn't it? Not necessarily.
No,
so you don't see competition, really?
I don't see competition because our R&D department is like every day we have over 1,000 recipes which is coming. Like you look at this, is where this one which was on the screen.
Right.
It's like people talk about, oh, somebody's brought me chocolate with nuts.
Yeah.
They will say, what is it as anything new? So this one is the same chocolate that will come with nuts. So this is with macadamia, pistachio, almond, coconut, pecan, and walnut. You have a white chocolate here.
What we have on the screen?
On the screen is white chocolate. So like somebody brought me white chocolate, CPC says it's no news. You see? So because, and this one too, we did the coffee. The Royale is the one I'm talking about as 261 milligrams for every 100. So like they say, somebody stored a 20-year-old wine. Just 1 tablespoon of this is 15 times of that red wine. You see, so this is where we just want to get us all into it. At the end of the day, to build on our immunity.
And as we celebrate the National Chocolate Week, are there some activities that CPC has put in place just to sensitize them more and to educate the public the more?
Rather, COCOBOD, as a regulator, has brought us all on board.
On board as well. So you are joining hands with them.
Right. COCOBOD, GATA, and all of us. So we have one in Tetekwashe and one in Kumasi. And aside that also is where we are also dealing through our distributing channels, the ShopRite, the Melcoms, the Game, and all this. That's how we have our distributors trying to sort it around as much as possible that people get it, to have the feel to express their love. Well,
I was actually talking about sensitization because there are a number of misconceptions out there. There are people who say, well, diabetic patients don't have the opportunity, for instance, of taking in chocolates and all of that. But I understand that at CPC, you have some brands that are specifically targeted towards these sects of people, and you have some products that even go beyond and provide specific health needs. How about that as well?
That is our mission and vision statement. That to provide healthy products from the infant, that's the toddler, to the grandpa. So that's how we have. So
you cut across. You're not just for one person.
Just not one person. And that's what I said makes us unique. That any competitor will have to fight it top. So we have that one, which is the Aspire.
What's the name again?
Aspire. Aspire. And that is exclusively for the diabetic patients. And those with serious hypertension, so we have the 70, 80, 90 dark chocolate. And do you know that the dark chocolate, any 70% and above, is equivalent to somebody taking 80 grams of aspirin.
Whoa.
You see, so this is how, like, anytime, and we have a spread paste, which is cashew and tiger nut. So it's like we're looking at that 5 top polyphenols as a product.
So the last product you were just talking about,
this one is hazelnut and cashew nut.
Yeah.
So we have cashew nut as a paste for your bread.
Which you can use as a spread.
Yes, and we have this also almond and hazelnut. And this is almond sugar-free.
Okay.
So this is also like a diabetic patient.
Well, you could feel free and...
I thought that this one was, after day, I'm going to give it to you.
Anyway.
But if, with your permission...
Right. Oh, but why not? For the purposes of education, we could show that to our listeners. Yes, okay. And our viewers.
Let them know that... Right. So this is it, almond chocolate-free.
So what you have here, maybe you could just... see this. Okay, so tell us about this product.
So this is cocoa with almond as a paste, which you use for your bread. So like as we're talking about it, that's from the infant to the grandpa, as I'm talking about. So then you ask the question that, what is it about it?
Yes.
And I have it for the chocolate.
Okay.
I have it also for the paste. So you get to the breakfast table, and you also can be part of that food. Then this one also is the one that I said, like someone just come out, and that is heritage.
Okay.
So we have it here. So this is in nuts.
Okay.
So this is almonds, coconut, macadamia, pecan, pistachio, and walnut. So it's not like any news for anybody to come and say, oh, somebody brought me chocolate for Switzerland. And,
all made here in Ghana.
All made. And the difference here is mine is food, because it's more cocoa, less sugar. The difference is somebody will tell you that when you eat more chocolate, but rather when you eat more chocolate, you are building on your calcium.
So as CPC, internally, your operations, would you say that everything is okay, or would you need more funding to open up your scale of production and all of that?
It didn't look well until 2017.
Okay.
And we started to try to get it on track until the COVID got in. So seriously now, as I'm saying, you have only a 3,000 tons, which is 4.6% of your capacity. We have 2 processing machines, which is the first machine built by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We've had to retool and replace some parts, but it cannot be like you have a new car,
okay.
65 years old, and 65. You can change the engine, but it cannot be like a 2021 vehicle. These are the challenges we're having. But now that also with the sensitization and awareness, there's been a need. Around this COVID, you're having people chasing us with, say, one person wants chocolate 1 million. But because of your capacity, you don't have it. So we're going through with COCOBOD and now trying to get a facility to increase our production. So we want to retool and replace some of our parts and increase to 87,000 tons. Then a confectionery from 3 to 15, because this is where the money is, and that's where we want to go.
It's interesting how you're saying even within the era of COVID, more and more demands are coming through. But how was it like at the outset of the COVID, when everything started, when there was a pandemic? Has it had a toll on your operations as CPC?
I would say no. The only reason is that I do 95% of the semi-finished. Okay. That is the only challenge. But on that 5% here, no. It is this 5% that has sustained the workers. But I have a challenge with my cash flow, because 5% cannot support your operations. You do this semi-finished form, it's locked up there, and you cannot export. But that same that you convert into a product is sold, but that is only 5% of your total. Like in this room, if we have production, it goes through, you pay electricity bills before you can get into this.
Right.
So, but if at the end of the day, it converts into a chocolate, that fraction of this cannot make up for these utilities. Those are the only challenge. My challenge is with respect to cash flow. But I can say that I have not had any dismissals. I have not retrenched any staff because we are working, just because of this product. So if I was able to move in volumes of this line, and because if you have a 177 billion line,
okay,
that would have solved your problem, and that's where we want to go.
But for COVID, you would have produced more of this. This is what you mean?
No, yeah, but for COVID,
right,
we would have produced more of this, because if you produce this and you have $20 million locked up that nobody is buying, these are the reasons why we just want to internally now let this, which is a semi-finished, now become a tertiary product. What I mean is that we used to get it in 25 kg. So now we've got approval from FDA to register this now as food and cosmetic. You see, so like now, somebody can just buy this and we use it as your cooking oil and for baking. At the same time, you can use it as your body cream. So now FDA will give that, and in this case, we'll just sell it in this pack, like this pack, with a proper packaging. You understand?
Okay, so this is what you have approval for now.
As food and as cosmetic.
But then in terms of the actuals, your targets and your figures, how is it looking like at CPC?
That's what I just said, that the targets and the figures are not good because of the challenge of not selling. And so I have that problem with respect to cash flow.
So you're making losses?
Making losses. But from that 2017, it was looking good. At 2017, was that $10 million. But at 17, 18, 19, we had to reduce it to 3. But the 19, 20 accounts is when we had this COVID that it got up again. Even with respect to that 18 million, was a 5 years interest payment, which was 1.5, which the bank said, if we don't able to make up on that, it will come back to 5%. So that is where the auditors come.
I'm sure a lot of people listening out there would want some clarity on this. So what you mean to say is that this year, or starting...
Okay, our cocoa
right.
financial year, it's not like the normal year.
Okay, so provide some clarity on that.
When I talk 17-18,
yes,
it's like 1st October 2017 to 30th September 2018. Then you say 1st October 2018 to 30th September 2019. So the 1st October 2017 to 30th September 2018. Then 1st October 2018 to 30th September 2019.
Okay.
Was a reduction in our finances from 11 million to 3.3.
Right. From 11 million
to 3.3.
That's significant.
Yes, because we increased for the first time in the history of CPC. We did 25,084 tons. We increased production. We sold.
Right.
And you got a good margin for the futures market. Following year, 2018-19, you did 28,014, which is 44% of your capacity. So you reduce further. Then in 1920 is where you had this challenge.
Okay.
So then you have a product that the buyer is locked and cannot sell, cannot buy from you, because you have 95% of this being exported and only 5% into this.
Yeah. And
this is where I brought up the challenge. So it then moved the 3.3 to 18.
So you're moving, in terms of actual, you're moving from 3.3...
The lost 3.3
right.
came to $80 million.
But
that $80 million, again, is what I'm saying, that was not in terms of operational losses, but rather the caveat was that COCOBOD, I started saying that they've been assisting us.
Okay.
So the facility that we had as a debt was a 5% reduced to 1.5. But then to say that if you are not able to pay, I'll come back to the 5%. So the auditors and the IFRS would then say that because you've not paid, then I'm bringing you to that 5%. So for that 3 years, is that cap of interest of $11 million. So that is that difference of the 18. Again, we were able to do some expansion in our products and increase our asset base. And that also was 4 million, because then you need to evaluate on that. Right. So seriously, though, 80 million, but the real actual loss was 7 million. The 11 million of that loss is not operational losses.
So what's the strategy for you now that you know the financial challenges there? Are you making some plans to address to check?
That is what the accounts term was going forward.
Right.
Yes. This now is a semi-finished product in 25 kilos. COVID is not going today, COVID is not going tomorrow. So what are you doing? Now we just want that same product, which is for food, cosmetic, pharmaceutical, and chocolate. Okay. Then increase it into this tertiary. So like now, do more white chocolate, do more chocolate. Get also at the food. In the food now, get it in small packages. Do sensitization and awareness on why a plant-based butter is better than other butters, and in an economic form that everybody can have it. So this is how we are getting it. Again, use it as pharmaceutical, as cosmetic. That's what others always import as the XXS cocoa butter. So that also is where, as I'm talking about, you are applying it. Because this is a food-grade butter, and that is better. So these are what we're trying to do. Again, the nips, which I just said is 1 tablespoon is 40 times antioxidant, right, is now going to be packaged as a snack. Because you come to sit here, now one of the challenges of this COVID is theobroma thrombosis. What they tell you is that you don't need to sit down for long. But hey, that's the work you're doing. So when you take this, it's a blood thinning, and then it works on your system, and you are cool. So these are how we just want to, and also with the Royal, that's the powdered one. So then moving it from a semi-finish now into a tertiary. And these are what we want to do just to reduce the losses.
All right. Are you on the lookout for private partnerships?
For now, I can say no, because the banks have seen into the vision and are prepared to give us that facility. So now that we've got that bank, except that the regulators or the shareholders, because we are listed, would want to do that. because, but the honors is not on me yet. Because I have 94.4%, COCOBOD 57, SNIT and government. So they formed the 94. If they want to drive to that way, I cannot stop them. But I think that it is one business that you don't need to let somebody come in. If you've waited all this while, then just wait some few more years and reap what you want to get.
We need to wrap up. The National Chocolate Week celebration is also happening. What are your preparations towards the celebration?
We're working 24/7 to meet the demands. And I must say that we've had a lot of patronage from institutions. A lot of them are doing customized chocolate just to share to their customers. And I want to use this opportunity for everybody who has supported CPC to let us come this far. We are very grateful.
Right, and that's Nana Ejening Boateng the first. I'm grateful, sir, for joining us here on The Pulse. We'll return after this short break. Stay with us.